Hey brothers and sisters, Doug Rosner here, Handy Home Helper, and this is the Addition Structural Repairs, episode 3. Here, I'll just do a quick backup and put it in perspective again. I know I've showed it before, but perspective. Here's the addition. So you see it connected over to the house. Okay, and this is where the posts were down in the ground. Buried in the ground, and they were rotting out. Okay, so this is where we've done all our temporary shoring. You've seen it episode 2 and episode 1. That's temporary shoring over there and over there, right? Okay, so and there was some pictures or part of video, can't remember, that showed where we dug out the rotted posts, dug down to the footers that were there. Those are 30 inches down, but we had to dig more than that because we found those footers were not centered under these posts. Right, there's a center mark, go down. Okay, and if you come this way, because it's an XY axis, right? That's what, you know, down here, let me move this. Think of an XY axis, X, Y, and there's center, right? The existing footers had, the posts were not centered on the footers, which means the footer wants to, list, you know, where it wants to turn, because the load isn't in the center of the footer. If it's out on the edge of the footer, it wants to push that part of the footer down. You're not getting the load distribution when your load point is not in the center. So down below here, right, at least this much of the sonotube, probably almost half of it, we had to dig down a lot farther than the top of the existing footer to get down to our 30 inches and have our posts hitting dead center of these piers, right? Okay, so these are the sonotubes. It's a round cardboard. They're perfectly fine for this. You get your bottom set right in the tops. These are called yokes. Some people call them cradles with the way I got it set in there. It's all plumbed and centered, right? Staked in, not moving anywhere while we pour it, right? And these two were poured yesterday, and what we do is we put insulating blankets over them. Internal temperature of concrete should stay at 50 degrees for 3 days, right? That's according to ACI, which is American Concrete Institute. That's for when you're in what's known as cold weather concreting, and there's a formula or criteria, I should say, when you look it up to see, are you in actual what's called cold weather. A lot of people think, well, it's not going to freeze, so we're okay. No, that's wrong. If when you start getting below 50 degrees, below 40 degrees, you can get into what's determined as, determined, that's fine, as cold weather concreting, meaning you need to put in protection on the concrete to make sure the internal temperature of the concrete will stay at 50 degrees for at least 3 days. And then you can uncover it, you're okay. Alrighty. Now, what we did here was, this only called for 3,000 PSI concrete, and what's poured here is what's called high early, and here we go. All right, see that 5,000 plus, and it says high early. Okay, because if we would have used just regular 3,000 PSI concrete, we would have had to wait 28 days while the concrete achieved its design PSI, pounds per square inch, before we could load the permanent posts, right? Posts that go back right there, that were there. They go in, they're going to sit down on top of here, on top of the piers. We'll have these Simpson brackets that could, we'll use hammer drill, and we fasten it to the pier, and then the post goes into the bracket and comes up to the beams over here too, right? But you got to have a minimum of, it's somewhere around 2,700, 2,800 before you can even load it. Well, in order to do that, I needed a high early concrete. Otherwise, we'd be waiting till middle of January to put the post in. So we got the 5,000 PSI concrete high early, so I can achieve 2,800 PSI in 3 days. Well, I'm going to be higher than that. Today's Tuesday, all right? We're going to cover these when we're done, right? And with the insulated blankets, and they're going to stay until Monday. So we're going to be way past 3 days, meaning I'm going to be way above 3,000. I'll probably be closer to, I don't know, 3,500, 3,800 PSI when we come back Monday, the following week, okay, to load these piers. Alrighty, so we'll be in great shape for that. The new 6x6s will be above grade. You'll never have the condition again. If you can kind of see, I know it's under the blanket, but the top of that pier is well above the mulch and dirt and all that you see over at these heat pumps. We moved those heat pumps. They were in horrible position, all leaning, and that one there that doesn't have the pump legs on it, the pump up legs, that has pump up legs on it. That one there had mud all on the upper side of it. On the other side, we cleaned that all out, got those moved, and got them stable. So anyhow, so we are eliminating the problem of having the post be against dirt, okay? Even on our decks, I didn't do this, but we don't put posts into the ground. We bring the footers, the piers, up a few inches above the ground. And now these are okay. These are flush with the ground. If you can see, concrete is actually right here, okay? And that's a bracket. And this is stone. Stone's not going to rot that post. And they got stone throughout the rest of it. Now these have all been replaced by somebody else. Yeah, anyhow. And they had me here for this. I'm not sure why. But anyhow, that's okay. I got the call, looked at it, and away we go. So then that'll fix the problem. We'll come back, we'll strip. Actually, Monday we won't be loading these. We'll be stripping these forms off. Folks think you can leave the sonotube in under the ground. You're not supposed to. Alrighty, so this is Doug Rosner, Handy Home Helper, signing off.